is Jim Hawk from Team Hawk Realty. Today I want to talk a little bit more about first-time home buyers and starting to work towards saving for their down payment. Today we're really starting to see the effects of the new mortgage stress test rules and the impact that this is having on our first-time buyers. We're currently going through a cycle. And this is a cycle that I've experienced many times over the last 30 years, where mortgage rules tighten up and then, over time they seem to loosen up again. So this is just one of those cycles we're going through, and it will pass. But there are steps that you can take even as you're getting ready to purchase your first home. And probably one of the most important things is to try to establish a really good credit score. And it's as simple as getting a credit card with like a $500 limit on it. Pay your gas every month with that credit card. At the end of the month, pay it off and pay it in full. What happens is you start creating a really good habit of paying credit back. And when the banks look at your credit score, they see that you borrowed, they see that you're paying back, and you create high scores, and it's going to be a real good place for you to get started. Real problems that I've seen in the past where people get themselves into trouble is they'll start missing payments on like credit cards, even your cell phone bill. You'll get upset with the cell phone supplier, not pay for 2 or 3 months, and then you find out that this goes against you when you go to borrow money for even a vehicle or purchasing a home. Sometimes you go to stores and you borrow money, Canadian Tire credit card, and you owe 30 cents or $2 on it because something silly was missed. They don't recognize that it's a small amount of money. They only recognize that you haven't made that payment. So even if it's a small payment that really has no significance, still pay it off at your next time and get it down to a zero, and always maintain a zero balance on all of your credit cards. This will make such a difference for getting yourself into a home. Number 2 is trying to save for a down payment. And this is quite often one of the most difficult parts of the whole buying process, especially now that housing prices have gone up so much. Now, a great way to accomplish this is to do what is said in the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. If you ever want a really good book to read, it's an excellent book. Basically, the premise is they talk about saving 10% of all the money that you earn from every paycheck, and you just put it right into a separate bank account. I know it's not easy, but if you can do this from day one, you learn to live within your means. So if you take home an example, if you take home $400 a week and you set aside $40 a week, at the end of the year, you've saved $2,080. If you have a partner that's doing the same thing, over the course of a year, you've saved $4,160. The next step, if you've gotten really comfortable with that, in the second year, you can bump that up to 15% of your income. Within 2 years, you've saved almost $11,000. Time goes by fast. You've saved that amount of money, and you can just continue. It might take you 3 years to have enough money for your down payment, but you can slowly work towards getting that on a consistently basis. But the money has to go into a separate bank account, or you'll find a way to spend it, guaranteed. Another thing that people don't always know is if you're renting and you paid your last month's rent, let's say an example of $1,500, when you look for a home, give yourself at least 60-day window to close. This allows you to give your landlord all their notice, so you can now have an extra $1,500 from your rent, last month's rent, to put towards your down payment. Now, another advantage of going from renting to buying is you pay rent at the beginning of the month, and once you make your home purchase, you make your mortgage payments at the end of the month. So in this example, assume you're renting for $1,500 a month. If you pay the rent on the first of each month, you have paid last month's rent in advance. You make an offer on a property. Let's use an example of August 14th, today's date. You allow yourself 2 weeks for these conditions. That gives you until August 28th to remove all the conditions on your home. You ask for a closing for October 31st. On September 1st, you give your notice to your landlord. You pay September's rent, but on October 1st, you don't have to pay rent because you've already prepaid it. So you've got that $1,500 that you would have had saved for last month's rent in that rent. You close on October 31st. So November 1st, when you would have normally paid your another $1,500 in rent for your on your rental property, you don't actually make your first mortgage payment in this situation until December the 1st. So now you would have had the $1,500 saved for November 1st rent. So you've got two $1,500 payments saved. You've now saved $3,000 in addition to the rest of your down payment. So this could be used towards your legal fees, or it could be used towards paying off, paying more of your down payment. So it really puts you in a good situation. That's $3,000 quick dollars that you've saved in 2 months. Another way that you can get money is a gift letter. So if you're fortunate enough to have a family member that will gift you the 5% down, then that is also a good way. It's also a good way to have money set aside for your down payment. It's good with the banks. The banks typically have their own gift letters that they're going to want everybody to sign, acknowledging that the money was given to you as a gift and it's not going to be repayable. But again, a great option if you're in that situation. And the fourth way that you may have some money set aside for a down payment is with your RRSPs. As an individual, you can cash in up to $35,000 in RRSPs, and as a couple, you can set aside as much as $70,000 in RRSPs to use towards your down payment. To qualify, the RRSPs have to have been on deposit with whatever financial institution that they are with for at least 90 days. And then the payback for these is over a 15-year period. And an example is you must pay 1/15 back every year to whatever you borrowed. And to make this simple, to give you an example, if you borrowed $15,000 or cashed in $15,000 of your RRSPs, every year you would have to pay 1/15 of that back, which is simple to say that you'd have to pay $1,000 of that back into your RRSP. If for any reason one of those years it was difficult and you just couldn't get that extra $1,000 to put aside into your RRSP, then you would only pay tax on that $1,000 portion. So that 1/15 of that year is all that you're gonna have to really worry about. So even if you do miss one of the years, you're not completely paying tax on the full amount of the RSPs that you borrowed. Those are 4 simple solutions to trying to get into, well, not maybe I shouldn't say simple, but they're 4 solutions to getting into, the housing market with a good down payment. Establishing your credit score, saving for your down payment, using your first and last month's rent as help towards your down payment or your legal fees, borrowing money, getting a gift from a family member, and your RRSPs. If you have any questions about this or anything else that we've talked about, please feel free to give one of my agents a call at 705-527-7877. Please keep smiling and enjoy the blessings that come into your life each and every day. Thank you.